what's up guys? Talk movies with us here. Back with a review of this little indie movie. Not sure if you've heard of it, maybe you have. Of Avengers Infinity War. This will be a non-spoiler review for obvious reasons.
Yes, I mean, this is a movie that people are going nuts over, and we've been waiting a very long time for this movie. So we're not going to spoil this movie for you, but we are definitely going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how it made us feel. We're going to go into a quick plot synopsis.
Super quick.
Yeah, super quick. You know, we'll talk about performances, how it looked, how it sounded, and yeah, that'll be. We're
going to try to explain as much as possible, but as vaguely as possible.
Yeah,
very vague.
It's going to be a challenge.
Yes,
but we can definitely do it.
So, guys, here is the plot synopsis. Ready? Here's a quick one for you guys.
One sentence.
The Avengers are up to their biggest challenge yet against one of the biggest, baddest villains in the Marvel Universe, in Thanos, played by the great Josh Brolin. And there you have it.
Yeah, so pretty much everybody knows that Thanos is looking for the Infinity Stones. There are 6 of them, and he's looking for them. And when he does find them...
He's searching far, he's searching wide.
Yeah, and if and when he finds them, the whole universe is going to implode, so...
And that's...
I'm not really sure why he would want to do that, but...
No, so that's pretty much it.
He just wants to be alone.
I guess so, but let me tell you guys something. Right off the bat, one of my biggest compliments I could give this film is that it is one of the first Marvel films that you watch that, you know, it actually has stakes. The stakes are raised, you know, anything could happen. You know, it was the one movie where I was like, I am genuinely shocked at what's happening right now because you don't know what to expect.
And I will say, I mean, we didn't read the comics, and I'm not sure how true they are to the actual comics, but I really didn't know what was going to happen. You know, in most superhero movies, you have the beginning, you have the middle, and you have the end. This one, you were not really sure when it's going to end, where it's going to end, and when it does end, you have no idea how to feel. And that's why we didn't do our review last night. We kind of needed to let it process. And I think that's like the consensus, because I'm seeing all over Twitter that people are like, I don't know how to feel. I'll do my review later. Yeah. And it's crazy.
And I think that's a good thing because, you know, the film... It definitely takes its chances, it takes its risks. And, you know, most of these Marvel movies, one of the biggest gripes, well, the 2 big gripes for me have always been the villains are lame and generic, and the movies are good, well-produced, but they're always formulaic. I
was gonna say, it's a certain formula that every single one of them kind of follow. Yeah, some of them go in a slightly different direction. Obviously, Black Panther kind of broke through a few different barriers with being a more serious movie. But, I mean, this one, it was just, you really just didn't know.
You didn't know. The unpredictability factor was pretty awesome in this. You know, this movie was firing on all cylinders. And Josh Brolin, man, the guy, this is his movie, you know?
Yeah,
and he does a damn good job. And unlike, you know, we're not going to get into, like, the DC, you know, that last mess, the Justice League, but... there's a lot of CGI characters in this film, but they're really well done.
Doesn't look like CGI.
They don't look like PlayStation 2 graphics. You know what I mean?
No, we're probably at like the PS4, Xbox One X graphics.
Yeah, PS4 Pro.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, because Josh Brolin is, you know, CGI, you know, predominantly, you know, motion capture, what have you.
Like, obviously you can see it, and you can see him.
You see it's Josh Brolin.
Yeah, but I mean. There were certain scenes where he was in the sunlight and everything, and it really didn't look like he was, like, copied and pasted into that scene.
Oh, no.
He looked like he was actually in that scene.
There was one scene that looked a little funky with the Hulkbuster suit and Mark Ruffalo, but that's not a gripe. But overall... I mean, he was a fantastic villain, Josh Brolin.
Definitely the best villain we've seen, hands down.
Oh, without a doubt.
Or at least in our opinion.
And, you know, besides, you know, Loki and the first Avengers, I think Thanos takes the cake in terms of villains, you know?
Definitely. I mean, the rest of the performances, Chris Evans, obviously.
Yeah, the rest of the gang, you know.
It's...
There's a million of them to name, but...
I mean, there's so many characters in this movie, but they all play their characters, obviously, very well.
Yeah.
They have been these characters for years now.
Yeah.
So they know who they are at this point. But, I mean, there are new challenges in this movie, and, you know...
Definitely new obstacles, for sure.
Definitely new obstacles. And thoroughly impressed.
But to have all these characters in one movie mesh so seamlessly, and each of them have their shining moment.
Yes.
I thought it was really, really as well as you could do it, honestly.
That's what I was going to say that, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I mean, the hype is real for this movie, and it is well-deserved.
Yeah.
Well-deserved. I was very worried that the story was going to get very convoluted with all of these characters being in the same movie. I was like, is it going to be long enough? Everything flowed very nicely. I never was bored. I didn't ever feel like a scene was dragging on for too long. And once the end came, I needed to see more.
Exactly.
I was like, what is happening?
Just when you're like, you know, holy shit. Roll credits. It leaves you
wanting more.
Wanting more, for sure.
That's definitely a good way to put it.
I just want to reiterate, it really is crazy to me how they incorporate, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, you know, Doctor Strange, you know, all the main guys, Thor.
I mean, everybody. Everybody that we have seen grow throughout these movies over 10 years or whatever.
It's fun to see, especially for the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's fun to see them incorporated.
Finally, like, interacting with these other members,
so
because
awesome.
Even though Thor is also, you know, like a god from another planet or whatever, he has had his moments on Earth, whereas Guardians, they don't. I mean, except for, you know, Star-Lord being from, what, Minnesota or whatever.
I mean, I love the flair of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I always go into that, but I feel like the writing for them is so sharp. And and Dave Bautista is a riot to me. I love that guy. I mean, he's absolutely hilarious in this. And
I really love the angsty teen Groot that we had.
I know.
He was hysterical, even though he really wasn't doing much.
Vin Diesel does a phenomenal job with Groot. Let me tell you something. It's definitely worth the $500,000 we'll build. Who God knows what he's getting paid
to say 3 words.
To say I am Groot, but well worth it. Vin Diesel's the man. Doctor Strange, I mean, I love the Doctor Strange film, the standalone film.
Yeah,
it was great to see more of him.
I wanted to see more of him after his movie, and it was nice to see him and his kind of introduction into more of like the Avengers, because obviously he met Thor.
Yeah.
But he didn't know Tony Stark, and they kind of had their moment, and it was funny. It was really funny. I mean, Tony Stark, of course, never a dull moment with him.
No.
And
his little witty one-liners. Of course, you get Spider-Man incorporated into all this. The young kid interacting with, you know, these larger-than-life people. Doctor Strange. You know, it's just crazy.
And let me ask you, because you weren't a huge fan of this Peter Parker. You know, this Spider-Man. How did you feel? Because I know you liked him in Civil War, and then you weren't a huge fan of Homecoming, and now
I liked him in this.
So you like him in the setting where he's in a group of people and it's not focused.
I don't like him when he's walking around a school and he has 100 annoying friends that act like.
His friend was in it, though, for a second.
For 2 seconds, thank God, because I would have walked out.
Oh,
that kid was the worst. But yeah, with this group, he's fine. You know, I thought Spider-Man Homecoming was so damn generic, but he's fantastic in this. I have no problems with him in this whatsoever.
I guess we can go into kind of how the tone was. So there was a lot of comedy in it.
It wasn't full-on comedy.
It wasn't thrown at you like Guardians of the Galaxy is mostly comedy with
But
some
I will
action.
say that's where most of the comedy comes from, is from them. So it's expected. And I feel like it's incorporated fine. It's not overdone.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Obviously this movie has a lot of very serious moments.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of emotions running through this movie. You feel sadness and happiness and anger
and a lot of confusion.
And yeah, it's a whole ball of emotions.
It really is. And to get that in a big budget comic book film,
movie, yeah.
I mean, it really gave me pretty much everything I wanted. Now, if I'm going to have a small gripe, and this is, because nothing's ever perfect, right? I mean, so my only gripe with it is that I know you didn't really feel this way, but I thought there was a little bit of a pacing weirdness thing, a little bit of a pacing issue going on more towards the middle, where I feel like they got into a little bit too much exposition of explaining things. And I guess... we've saw every movie before this, so we know, but I guess it kind of gives people, it catches them up a little bit on what's going on, where it's kind of fresh in our heads.
You think like a refresher almost?
In
or like
some
if they
way.
Haven't seen it? I mean, I didn't really feel that way.
I was never fully bored. It's just that there was a little dullness in the middle, but that's a minor complaint.
Well, you're not the only one who has said that either. I have seen a few other people kind of say that. They're like, oh, you know, it starts off with this bang, and then it kind of does settle down.
Yeah.
And then it comes right back up at the end.
With a vengeance, yeah.
But I think that it was important for that to happen, in my opinion.
I mean, listen, for a movie to incorporate, like we said, 1 million characters like this does, I mean, that's really, if that's the only complaint, then that's nothing.
I was going to say that's nothing. Yeah. And I mean, I guess the last thing we could talk about is how it looked. I mean, we saw it in Dolby, and I do understand that it was filmed with IMAX cameras, so we saw more of a cropped picture. It was not the full IMAX aspect ratio. So I think I'm going to go see it at some point again in IMAX, because I do want to see it how it was intended to be seen. But the colors and the sharpness of the Dolby cinema.
Oh yeah, Dolby cinema is fantastic.
So if you want to see it twice, see it in IMAX and then see it in Dolby, do it, because Dolby was amazing. Yeah. I mean, it sounded great. It was just a great theater experience.
We say that all the time. If you ever have a chance to see a movie in Dolby, you never want to go back to a regular theater. You know, that just goes for anything you see in Dolby, because Dolby's insane. Beautiful. The sound, your seat is shaking, and especially in this kind of a movie, it was just... It was a lot of fun.
And I mean, even with the audience too, like, people were cheering when certain characters came on. It was just, like, the atmosphere. It was so, like, nice to sit down and enjoy this movie. And it was a great movie. It's not like it was kind of boring movie, but everybody was excited for it. Everybody enjoyed it, I think, for the most part.
I mean, I will say, in terms of the MCU, listen, we're not going to sit here and rank 100 movies.
Maybe one day we'll rank them. But...
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of ranking every little thing, but I will say...
You don't want to rank your favorite Tony Stark moments?
Nah, not really. But this is on the upper echelon of the Marvel films. I will say it's... I'm not going to say it's number 1 or number 2. It's top 5 for sure. I will say that.
I think I'm willing to say that this is my favorite Marvel movie so far. I've never had that feeling in a Marvel movie, so I feel like because of that feeling alone that I had, that really made it worth it, and it was just, that would be why it would be my number 1.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Maybe I'll watch it again when it comes out on Blu-ray, and I won't really feel the same, but I will always remember that feeling that I had when that movie ended, and I just... complete shock. I mean, for that to happen in a superhero movie, I think that is saying something.
Oh, for sure. Like that's the biggest compliment, is just the unpredictability factor, for sure. So what are we rating this? Let's get to
all
rating.
Right, let's rate it, because otherwise we'll just babble on and on.
And we're gonna let spoilers slip out at some point, so let's cut while we're ahead here.
I'm giving it an A. I had a great time with it, and I definitely can't wait to see it again, and I think I definitely want to see it again in theaters. And A.
Yeah, I'm glad I slept on this, because leaving the theater, I was a little befuddled, little confused, a little angry.
I heard a little ranting in the car.
But the more I let it soak in, and you know, the positives outweighed the negatives by a lot. Not that there was much negativity. I'm gonna go A-.
Okay.
I'll go. You know, I was going for a B+ or A-, but. You know, if I see it again,
I think it definitely
the chances are I'm going to like it that much
Maybe
more.
It'll be a cinematic masterpiece.
Whoa, who knows?
A lot of people are actually saying it is. And if you do feel that way, that's great.
Yeah, I mean...
I think for a superhero movie, it's a masterpiece for a superhero movie.
But when something gets hyped up like this, it's just people go with it. You know, they take it and they run with it, no matter what.
That's true. That's true. People love their superhero movies.
They love their superhero movies, but, I mean, hey, listen, a good movie's a good movie, right? So...
Yes.
That's our take on Avengers Infinity War. Let us know what you thought, of course, in the comments down below.
And I think we're going to be closely monitoring comments on this one. Please don't post any spoilers.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Just don't be a troll.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. So,
yeah. Let us know how you felt about the movie, though, without giving the plot details away. Obviously, thank you so much for watching our review. Hopefully, you enjoyed it.
And yeah, guys, just thank you so much for supporting the channel in general.
Give this video a big thumbs up, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you guys later.